Rosemary met Jackie on a spring afternoon when the world still seemed wide and merciful. She was 22, standing in the shadow of youth but looking ahead to dreams that glowed like candles. Jackie was older, steadier, with a smile that seemed carved out of sadness itself. He worked as a painter, not of houses, but of canvases no one wanted to buy. His clothes were always dusted with the smell of turpentine, his fingers stained with colors he could not wash away. They met in a cafe, a place where Rosemary came often to write in her little notebook. She wanted to be a poet, though the world had no patience for young poets. Jackie was sitting at the corner, sketching strangers. Their eyes met. Jackie had the kind of gaze that felt like a question and an answer all at once. Rosemary had the kind of smile that seemed to promise forgiveness before sins were even committed. He asked if he could sketch her. She laughed nervously and said yes. It was not love at first sight. It was something heavier, like recognition, as if two broken halves had finally found each other in a world that thrived on fragments. Their love was born quietly, almost shyly. They began to meet every week, then every day. Jackie painted her face more than he painted anything else. Rosemary read him poems she wrote, soft words about longing and storms and the power of embrace. At first, they told themselves it was innocent, but their embraces lingered. Their hands spoke louder than their voices. The first time Jackie kissed her, it was not fireworks or music. It was pain, a surrender to a hunger they both feared. Rosemary knew Jackie was married. His wife, Eleanor, was a kind woman who had given him her best years. But their marriage was a house with no warmth. They lived together, yet apart, bound only by silence. Rosemary never wanted to destroy another woman's world, but her heart betrayed her. She began to crave Jackie's presence, his scent, the way he whispered her name like it was a prayer he was too ashamed to say aloud. Their affair was not love in the light, it was love in the dark. And yet, to Rosemary, those stolen hours were the truest part of her life. Months turned into years. Their secret affair grew deeper. What began as love slowly changed into something darker, something desperate. Jackie told Rosemary he could not leave Eleanor. His wife had sacrificed her dreams for him. She had stood by him when no one else would. He could not repay that with betrayal. But he also could not let go of Rosemary. So, they built their own kind of union, a marriage without vows, without rings, without blessing. A marriage of lust. Rosemary hated the word, but she could not deny it. Their meetings were consumed by desire. They embraced not because they could, but because they feared each goodbye might be the last. Every kiss felt like both a promise and a funeral. Every touch was an act of rebellion against the world, but also a wound they carried in silence. Rosemary often wept after Jackie left her bed. She would sit with the sheets twisted around her body, whispering to herself that this was not real love. And yet, when Jackie returned, she welcomed him again. It was a cycle: passion, guilt, longing, and grief. One evening, Jackie arrived at her apartment looking broken. His hands shook as he held her. He confessed that Eleanor was ill. She had been diagnosed with cancer. Rosemary felt her heart shatter. This was the moment when she could have claimed Jackie for herself. But instead, she saw the truth: Eleanor needed him more than she did. Jackie whispered that he loved Rosemary, but his eyes were filled with tears for his wife. And Rosemary, though burning with jealousy, knew what she had to do. She let him go. It was the hardest sacrifice of her life. To surrender the only man who had made her feel alive, to watch him walk away into the arms of another woman, was like cutting out her own heart and handing it over. But that was love, not the fever of lust, not the intoxication of passion, but the strength to lose so the other could heal. Rosemary did not see Jackie for a long time after that night. She tried to build a new life, but every man she met felt like an echo of Jackie, a shadow compared to the flame she once held. She wrote more poems, but they were soaked in sorrow, lines about sacrifice, about the pain of embracing someone who could never truly be yours. Her words became her only salvation. Jackie, meanwhile, cared for Eleanor until the end. He stayed by her side, painted her face as she grew frail, held her hand as she slipped away. When Eleanor died, Jackie did not come to Rosemary. Instead, he buried himself in his art, painting endless portraits of faces blurred with tears. Rosemary wondered if he had chosen to forget her, or if remembering was simply too painful. 10 years passed. Rosemary was older now, her beauty softened by time, her smile carrying the weight of memories unspoken. She lived quietly, teaching literature at a small school. Her poems gathered dust in drawers. One autumn evening, as she was leaving the classroom, she saw him. Jackie. His hair was grey now, his shoulders heavier, his eyes carrying the shadows of years. But when he smiled at her, it was as if no time had passed. They went to the same cafe where they had first met. They spoke of the years lost, of the people they had become. Jackie confessed that he had never stopped thinking of her. Rosemary's heart ached with both joy and sorrow. But when he reached for her hand, she pulled away. "I cannot," she whispered. "We had our time, we burned too brightly, and we destroyed ourselves. What remains now must be memory, not fire." Jackie's eyes filled with tears, but he nodded. He understood. That night, Rosemary wrote in her notebook one final time. "Greater than love is not always a gift. Sometimes it is a wound, sometimes a punishment. We seek embrace, not knowing it may suffocate us. We chase desire, not knowing it may break us. Yet, even in pain, there is beauty. For love, true love, is not possession, but sacrifice." She closed the notebook and placed it in a drawer. She never wrote again. Jackie continued to paint until his hands trembled too much to hold a brush. His last canvas was a portrait of Rosemary, older, with tired eyes, but still carrying that same faint smile of forgiveness. When he died, the painting was found in his studio, unsigned, as though it belonged not to him, but to the memory of a woman who had taught him both the sweetness and the cruelty of love. Rosemary never married. She lived the rest of her life quietly, always remembering the power of Jackie's embrace, the ache of his absence, and the haunting truth of their bond. It was not a marriage of rings or vows. It was a marriage of lust, but within it lay the purest reflection of love, sacrifice, pain, and the power of embrace. And sometimes, she thought, that was enough.